I'm Jim Gilliland. I am a veteran of World War II in Europe. I'm a very lucky guy, and I'll tell you why. I graduated high school in January of 1944. And at that time, of course, as you all know, war was at its height in Europe. And I was of the age to be drafted. I elected, however, to enlist at age 17 in what is known as the Army Specialized Training Program, and was sent to VMI to take my first year of college in engineering. And I was there for a year before I was summoned to Europe. But before going to Europe, anyone who was in the Army had to go through basic training. So I did that in Georgia for a period of weeks before going to Europe in the end of 1945. And that's why I say I'm lucky, because the war ended in May of 1945, so I was not about to experience any combat. Landed in Bremerhaven in late 1945. I traveled south by train on what is known as a 40 and 8, a boxcar. In fact, it was very chilly. And at the first stop, the doors of the boxcar were open and children came dashing down to the side of the rail car. And I noticed Pink's cheeks. Their cheeks were really delightfully pink. And I thought, oh, how wonderful, these robust children. I didn't realize that was a sign of starvation. These children were very desperately in need of food. So, of course, we had various things to offer in the way of foodstuffs. And we gave it to the children, obviously. We had a number of German male, female, helping on the post, doing various jobs, working in the kitchen, maintaining vehicles, all sorts of typical things you would have laborers do. And in running the PX, I noticed at times that some of our enlisted men particularly were buying extra supplies of soap, cigarettes, and things that were in ready supply through the PX at that time. And I made inquiry of some of them at times, what were they doing with all these cartons of cigarettes? Well, what they were doing was giving a lot of them to the German civilians who were desperately in need of foodstuffs. And they were using soap and cigarettes and similar items to provide barter for the German civilians to get foodstuffs. So a pack of cigarettes or a couple of bars of soap would literally feed a family for days. Oh. And that's why I was very pleased to be operating in a PX. And at the end of 1945, early 46, mid-1946, I was returned to the States and completed my Army service. Unfortunately, all of my records were burned in St. Louis in a warehouse fire there, so I have no records other than my discharge papers that I ever served, but I did.
Nice.